chapter, test 11A. Smith.
What was number 1?
I don't know. What was number 1? 1,600 feet cubed. Evan.
I don't understand number 11. Like
Number what?
11.
Okay, questions on the first page first, please.
Oh.
That was kind of what I was, just so I don't have to keep switching. I have to find it hard to believe that nobody has anything on this one, but hey, far be it from me. Eli?
Number 7, number 6.
Number 6. Yeah, let's talk number 6. Let's redo that thing here. Number 6, people. A couple important facts you need to know about a triangle, or at least one important fact. Eli, is that what? Every triangle has how many degrees in it, sir? 100 degrees. Alright, this is slightly irritating. Why would I not be able to? I think that there's something going on with the device here. Who got problem number 6 wrong? No. Really? Oh no. This could take a while. You know, it really takes. What is this? Manual or something? Manual Studio. Manual Tools. Come on, Manual Tools. Help me out here. Ah, sorry, kids. Number 6, was it? Number 6. Really? Plus. Finally, here we go. All right. Number 1, we know that a triangle has 180 degrees in all 3 angles there, correct? Usually it's not this hard. Okay. Well, I know this is how many degrees? 90 degrees. I know this is how many degrees?
50.
How do I know it's 50 degrees? Somebody? Jacob?
Because 130 is the line, I guess, and then the opposite one, or like what adds up the 180.
Exactly. This is a straight line. So 130 degrees plus how many degrees gives you a straight line? A straight line is 180 degrees. So 130 plus what is 180? 50. So now I know 2 of my 3 angles. This is the one I want though. If these have to add up to 180 degrees, 90 plus 50 plus what equals 180 degrees? Well, 90 plus 50 is 140. How many am I missing? 40 degrees. How many people put 50 degrees down? Why would you think that one was 50 degrees? So note to self, tomorrow's will be just like that. I don't know, that doesn't seem to be the toughest one. Grace?
I don't understand how I got number 5.
Number 5. Better than on the next page, of course it is. Number 5. I think we talked about this one yesterday. A square of vertices 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 is dilated. Write this down. Dilate means to get bigger. When you go to the eye doctor and he dilates your pupils, they get really big. And it tells you they are dilated with a scale factor of 3. That just means everything gets times 3. Every number here is going to get multiplied by 3. So 2, 2 now becomes 6, 6 times 3 times 3. Negative 1, 2 now becomes negative 3, 6. 3 times that, 3 times that. 3 times this, 3 times that is a negative 3, negative 3. And this is a 6 comma negative 3. This was a dilation of 5, you'd multiply everything by 5, of 7, everything by 7. It didn't even ask you to draw that, did it? Did it say draw it? No, it just said what are the coordinates? You just need to multiply. Sounds like an easy task to me. Nobody else on the first page? Christian, thank you! Because every day is game day.
I'm still kinda confused.
Oh, by the way, the 2 people that are going to Peoria, who was it, Jacob, and did you guys, there was a t-shirt thing that I sent out, did you guys wanna order one? Because it needs to be done today. I'm guessing if you didn't bring it in today, you're gonna have to take your chances if you want another amendment. Okay, perfect. What was that, Christian, sorry?
Number 2.
Number 2, ladies and or gentlemen. Although 6 of Simon's answers were incorrect, 85% of his answers were correct. How many questions did Simon answer? No. This one, I would strongly recommend writing yourself a percent box, because we got all sorts of percentages given me. What things are we comparing here? Well, one thing is incorrect answers, so if you talk about incorrect answers, the other one is probably, if you talk about grades, it's incorrect and correct. We know that 85% were correct. Total is always 100. So what percent were incorrect? Michael? 15. Now, what do we know about our actual numbers there? I'm not even going to get it there. What can I fill in? Which of these boxes can I fill in based with the information I'm given? The only number up there is 6. What is 6? Is 6 how many were incorrect, how many were correct, or how many total questions were on the test? 6 were incorrect. And then what do I want to know? Do I want to know how many were correct or how many total on the test? Richard?
Total on the test.
Total. So I don't need this column. This is my equal ratios. I take this over this, I make a fraction out of 15 over 100, and it has to equal 6 over some other number. So to do that ratio slash proportion slash equal fraction thing, anybody got suggestions? If you don't have any suggestions, then you do it the way they all can be done, which would be like this. 15 times some number equals 6 times 100, which is 600. So my answer is going to be what I get when I divide 600 by 15. And fortunately for you, 600 divided by 15 ends up being a nice number of 40. There were 40 problems on this test. 34 of them were incorrect, 6 of them were right. Yeah. This is probably the toughest part. You could have reduced this fraction, divided both of them by 5 and got 3 over 20. And then 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 20 is 40. But it doesn't have to be. If you don't get it, you don't get a Gary Ronning.
I know we've been focusing on this, but I do not understand 9.
Have you been focusing on number 9?
Oh, we're doing the
Yes.
Make, what's it say to do? Make a table of ordered pairs and graph the function. So this one, here is your equation. This one, where even though it's in slope-intercept form, this one says actually to make a table and just graph those points. So you're just going to pick whatever you want for x, Gary. Give me 3 numbers for x.
4,
4,
0,
0,
6.
6. If I put 4 in for x, what's 4 minus 2? 2. What's 0 minus 2? Negative 2. What's 6 minus 2? You are then just going to, on a graph, plot these points. You're going to plot 4, 2. You're going to plot 0, negative 2. And you're going to plot 6, 4. And guess what's going to happen? It'll be a nice straight line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. 0, negative 2, and 6, 4. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. You will get a nice straight line for those, just like we did. You could have graphed this with slope intercept, but they said to make a table. Remember, crosses the y-axis at -2, goes up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Nobody else on page number 1? Jacob!
Number 7. I don't understand how I got that wrong.
That's why we do this. 5 houses in the neighborhood this morning showed the following prices. The house with the high selling price sold for how much more than the median selling price?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we know what the highest selling price is, which is what? Which one of those is the highest? 415K. Let's just write it out like the big basis people got. The other thing we need to know is what's the median selling price? What does median mean? Middle, but you can't just pick the middle as they are, you have to put them in order from least to greatest and pick the middle. Okay, so you need the smallest one, which is 297.5. Oops, let's not do. And then the next one, biggest one, is 328. Then the next biggest one is 345. And then the next biggest, 389. And the biggest one we said was 415. If you have 5 numbers, which number is the middle number? Whatever this was,
Yeah.
345. So they said how much bigger, how much more, you're looking for the difference. So 415,000 minus that one there, which was 345, I believe. And if you subtract those, you get $70,000. Lots?
I don't get how to do number
Who?
3. Number 3.
Not too bad, you just think them out a little bit. The machine can produce 120 plastic dinosaurs in 8 minutes. How many can it produce in an hour? So what's your original ratio? You can do 120 dinosaurs in how long, Alexa? 8 minutes. But I don't want it in 8 minutes, I want it so that it's in what? And unfortunately, minutes an hour are not the same unit of measurement, so you need to say 60 minutes. What fraction would this be if there was 60 minutes on the bottom? You don't know. And once again, it seems like a lot of things boil down to, Abby, you need some help with something? Alright, a lot of things boil down to making equal fractions here. Alexa, how am I gonna do this? I can't hear you, what? Well, sure, what's this reduce to? Okay, well, reduce maybe isn't your best bet. What, if you don't know how to reduce it, you can't reduce it, what should you do? Cross multiply. 8 times what number is 120 times 60? Which gives you what? 72 with 2 zeros after it. You're going to divide that by 8. And you end up, I believe, with 900. That's your answer. You will make 900 dinosaurs in every hour. It's that same ratio. If it helps, you can make a ratio box. Kids, that's all I just did there. You're comparing dinosaurs to hours. 120 over 8 equals what number over 60? Same spiel the deal. Nothing else on the first page? Going once, going twice. Sold. Page 2.
11.
Boy, have we seen problems like this before? Probably 4 of the problems we did on the first page were like this, so you need to know how to do this. Evan, what do I do? Same thing we did on all the other ones, cross multiply. 20 times x has to equal 12 times 35. And 35 times 12 is, you get 70 plus 35, looks like 420. Is that right? It's hard for me. And then Evan, what am I gonna do next? If 20x equals 420. If 20x equals 420, what do I do next? I do divide. Divide by 20. Divide by 20. 20 goes into that, I believe 21 times. You do the math. And that's what number would go up there, 121. Grace,
I don't understand number 12.
number 12. Another good problem to know how to do. Anybody help me out on this? What part don't you get? Because I thought, I mean, if I did this, Grace, 2x plus 3 equals 9, would you know how to do that? It's just an equation that has 2 steps to it. What do you do? What would you do here? You want to get the letter x by itself. So I gotta get rid of this and I gotta get rid of this. I gotta get rid of this, gotta get rid of that. What do I do first? How do I get rid of this 1.8? You always leave the splitting up this part to last. I subtract 1.8. I subtract 1.8 from 6.0, and I end up with 4.2. Now 3x equals 4.2. Generally speaking, the last step I always do in any equation, Christine, is to your glass is not in the case, or just selected not to. 3x, yeah, your last thing pretty much always is to divide. What is 4.2 divided by 3? 1.4. That's what x equals. 7th grade, if you look about, you'll see a pretty much almost, probably 70% of the problems deal with either of those proportions or equations. It's pretty strong there. That you do the same thing every time. We almost do, it's like giving you the same problem 20 times on a test. Jacob?
Still, number 15.
Fitting. What do we do here? How do you simplify this? Well, first of all, 2 to the 3rd power is anything to the 0 power is, and what is 8 times 1? So there's that y goes away. What do I do with x to the negative 1 power and x to the 3rd power? Well, you add their exponents together. If you add a negative 1 and a 3, what do you get? Positive 2. So you do, when you combine same variables, you add their exponents together if you're multiplying. This is this times this times this times this. Anything to the 0 power is 1, it's going to go away because 1 times anything is itself. These two here, you just combine their exponents by adding them. Negative 3 and negative 1 is the 2. We're making some headway, ladies and gentlemen. Lutz? Alexa, did you draw the bag? Oh boy. Maybe that's the problem with your problem. A bag contains 10 red, 20 white, and 30 blue. I don't know if I want to draw all those, but let's just put it down as this. 10 white, right, 10 red, 20 white, and 30 blue. If one marble is drawn, what's the probability that the marble is not red? Probability that it is not red. Well, Alexa, how many not red marbles are there? Huh? 50. How many total marbles are there, Alexa? 60. So where is your problem? If you reduce 50 over 60, what do you get?
I have to have 10 over 6.
Right? You did the ones that were red. So I would say the problem you're having is you're not reading the problem. I don't know. What do you want me to say? You can't not follow directions and expect to get the problem right. Maybe it's because you're going too fast. Maybe you need to read the problem more than once. I don't know. Christine?
I don't really think I have
Algebra. Damn. 20? 20. As much as I get. The diameter of a cylindrical barrel. Hold on a second, I think I can fix this. 1 minute. The diameter of a cylindrical barrel was 20 inches. So did you draw the barrel?
Yeah.
And its diameter was 20 inches. When the barrel was lifted away, it left an imprint of a circle on the ground. What's the area of a circle? Did you write down the formula for the area of a circle?
Yeah.
Which is?
I can say.
Unfortunately, I'm guessing you didn't look in your notes, because it should be pi times radius times radius. In which case, pi is 3.14, radius is, Christian?
Our radius is 100, or not 110,
That's what?
10.
And then when you multiply the two tens together, you get the 100. Not a lot of math here, you just move the decimal 2 places. 314 inches squared is your answer. Unless it said to leave it in terms of pi, which I don't believe it did. Not too bad, no problem. Michael grew up.
I'll understand on that number 4.
Here is one where you probably really want to jot down the note for yourself. Did you get 12 times 10 to the 7th? Alright, when you multiply scientific notation together, the left side you get 12. Multiplying the 10s together, remember when you multiply things that have exponents, you add their exponents, you get 10 to the 7th. Can somebody tell Michael why his problem is incorrect, Sam?
Because it can't be one digit.
Yeah, this is not in scientific notation any longer. You need to change it so that it's in scientific notation, which means you need to take the decimal here, put it here, and make it 1.2. But when you do that, I made this one smaller, so I need to make that one bigger. You gotta balance out. 1.2 times 10 to the 8. G-race.
I don't understand number 17
And 18, all in one fatal salute. Oh good, another adding like terms one. Somebody explain to me how you do 17, please. Anybody out there? Kelsey Edwards.
Because I go into
Exactly, and how do I know what a like term is?
if it has the same numbers.
Nope, numbers have nothing to do with it. Numbers have nothing to do with it unless it's the exponent, but that's not. Numbers are not part of the whole equation in this thing. What is a like term? Grace?
whenever letters and this one letters
It has to be the same letters to the same exponents. In other words, ax squared does not go with ax. It has to go with ax squared. So all I have here that are like, I have 5x squared, and I add one more x squared to it, I get 6x squared. I have subtracting 3 x's, and then I subtract another x. Huh? It is not 2x. Oh, it's... Look here, children. Minus 3 x's means this. I have 3 x's that are getting minus. I have another x that's getting minus. How many x's are being minus there? 4. This is minus 4 x's. Okay? That's kind of what you gotta see it. This was 5x squared, and they're being added actually. There's 3, 4, 5, and then I put another adding x squared to it. That's why I have 6x squareds. You don't change the x to the 4s or x to the 8s or whatever they are, the x's don't change. That's why you can't put an x with an x squared. Number 18. What do we have to do for number 18? Savannah? What do I do with this parenthesis? Okay, you do the distributive property. You need to take this 2 times the x and that 2 times the negative y. So I end up with 2 times x is 2x. 2 times the negative y is a negative 2y. And then I need to look to see if I can combine like terms. And again, here I have 3 x's and I add another 2 x's or 5 x's. There are no other y's out there, so that stays just minus 2y.
What I can do to help you out with that is more than
Problem, let's just talk 13 because we talked about all the rest here. What's the deal with 13? 13 is very much like the multiplication one, except it's division. How is division different than multiplication? Jacob Kunzendorf?
You subtract the,
Exponents, you're gonna say, yeah. Over here, when I get my times 10, when I multiply, I add them. When I subtract, or when I divide, I subtract. So 8 minus 5 is 3. I divide 3 into 4.8 as well, and I get 1.6. And again, you need to make sure your answer is in scientific notation. This one is, so you don't have to worry about it. This is between 1 and 10, so everybody's happy. You've satisfied the great mathematical geniuses of the world. Sammy,
We do 16.
can we do 16? Is that on this side or the other side? Bottom of this page or top of the other column?
Not the other way.
Top of the other column. Yeah, let's do that. We need to put these together on top and get your top number, multiply these together, get your bottom number. What is 1.2 minus 0.12? What'd you get, Sammy, when you did that math? You don't know? 2 from 10 is 8, 0. You get 1.08 on top. What is 2 times 0.12? Anybody? 0.24. Now what do I have to do? Actually divide it out. Bottom into top. 0.24 into 1.08. How do I do that division there, Michael?
you have to move the decimal from there.
Decimal 2 places here, decimal 2 places here, it's gonna go up here, my answer. 24 goes into 108. Well, I guess it's 4 times, that's 96. Goes into 12, add a 0, drop it down, 4 goes into 120, 5 times 24. How many people got that wrong? Gotta know your decimal work with that one. Wrong in 7th grade. This one seems to be a relatively easy test. Who doesn't have any notes at all? Right? Writing into the notes? Other questions? Let's look again where we're at here. Hopefully you got the net. Did we do everything on this page? I believe we did. Now this one, obviously, if this triangle comes to a point, it's gotta be a pyramid. This one here, make sure you draw your box, it's just volume. This one, make sure when it is scientific notation, if it's a negative exponent, you move the decimal left. If it's a positive, you move it right. Nobody has any issues, huh? I'm gonna push the stop button. So I can find the stop button. You guys didn't push the start button, right?